Hello, squad. Welcome back to another episode of Fly High Productions with Mr. Follow Up. Hey, so check this out. Uh, we on day 139 of the Young Thug YSL Jeffery trial, right? I mean, YSL RICO trial. Georgia versus Jeffery Williams. First, let me ask you this. Did y'all miss me? Hey, well, check this out. Like I say, we on day 139. We late, but we gonna get it in. And since we late, we gonna go and get this party started. Get on in here in this courtroom and see what's going on. Looked like a lot transpired today. A bunch of back and forth between the state uh, and the judge, actually. Yeah, Miss Love, she acting up again. Let's go. Hey, do your homework on the ponytail boys. They tell me them lawyers was one of the lawyers to have, high paid lawyers back in the day. And I forget my guy's name back there with the ponytail, but he was part of it. So Thug got some high power people on his defense. Looking at Brian Steele right here up front, with the full head of gray hair, uh, alongside a Thug there.
What time was it sent? Did anybody get an email called Your Scan? Yes? Okay, well, that's it, apparently. Did we get one, Ms. Percifield? Yeah. I mean, I think it was supposed to be pages of the Twitter that she wanted.
I received your scan that had nothing but photographs from Instagram photographs.
Okay, I think it was Twitter, not Instagram, but okay. All right. Well, we didn't get it. The court didn't get it. So can you resend to Ms. Percifield? And Mr. Shart didn't get it. I mean, I don't know what happened sometime in the Ethernet between send and receive, but everybody else get it? Mr. Harvey was, he's not even included.
Well, I really don't understand how they can have all night and then come in here and waste our time like this. What's really going on? What's really going on? What's really going on? Adrian Love, Adrian Love should go try out for the basketball team or something because she suck as a DA. And the rest.
We need to address before we have our next witness and jury.
And the rest of her team.
Yes, Your Honor.
Guilty
Okay.
by
I just want to keep the
association.
court apprised. I was in contact with Mr. Atkins last night, and we compared lists. We have a slight discrepancy on what's in or what's out based on the court's ruling about the transcript.
Okay.
We may have a discrepancy. Mr. Atkins is reviewing what I sent to him and will report back, but I assume the state is not planning on playing it immediately. Is that
Pretty immediately. Sounds like. So maybe we need to get that sorted.
Bunch of tax dollars wasted. I'm talking about down the drain. While we wait, let me give y'all a little backdrop on what's going down today. So, if you've been watching it with me, I know you done heard them mention Detective Gaither on numerous occasions. Now, Detective Gaither, excuse me, Detective Gaither is the.
I just want to
Hold
raise
on, we'll
the
get
issue
back to that.
of the request to not video Detective Gaither. I realized that in the past there was a request for the media to not video Detective Gaither, and I didn't realize this before. I'm sure I objected to it before, but I don't understand the legitimate security concern regarding. I mean, maybe they can articulate a legitimate security concern regarding Detective Gaither, because she's all over media. I mean, she's a star of First 48. She gets an 8.4 rating, actually, so it's apparently a pretty good show that she's on. But I don't understand why she can be on commercial television and the
You raised a good
AJC
point.
and everywhere else and not be televised here?
I'll ask the state.
Your Honor, I think that I know that this was dealt with previously. She is no longer in law enforcement. She's retired, and she, in her capacity at her current position, is not working as law enforcement, but is in a position that we believe warrants the protocol that was placed in place last time that she testified.
Can you share with me what that position is?
Sure, if the court will allow me to do it at the bench with whoever with defense wants to come up.
Okay.
So
Is she on shows like First
No,
48?
She does not.
Has she been on shows like First 48 identified as by her name?
I have not seen her on First 48. I cannot speak to what Mr. Weinstein said. I have never seen her on First 48. But if he says he saw her, I don't think, and I don't believe that there's any reason to change what.
Well, we could just ask her.
And Your Honor, we could, but she's not. If she was or is on some episodes of First 48 that are playing now, she was in law enforcement. She had to have been during that time. I know.
Right. The point is, if her identity is out there anyway, readily available for anybody who wants to see it, identified as a law enforcement officer, then
may I
what?
approach?
Yes.
See, now, they did a lot of this today. They had a lot of. They did a lot of this today. They had a lot of sideboards going on, right? And a lot of this is due to Miss Love. Miss Love is steady trying to come with evidence that she hasn't presented to the defense yet. She basically cheating. She's been caught red-handed earlier this week. But that wasn't the first time. Previously in the trial, back when they had Judge Glanville in there, she was caught presenting evidence that hadn't been presented to the state. Or my correction, to the defense. You know, the defense got a right to defend themselves. And if you're not presenting them the evidence, they don't know what they defended themselves against. So how can they build a case? Speaking of building a case, just watch as the trial go on. And I'm talking about from this day forward. And they've been doing this since day one, or since the first day I picked up on it, which was fairly early on, maybe the fifth day of trial. But anyway, they building a case as they go. That's why Ms. Love is steady presenting evidence that she haven't gave the defense a chance to see. Because as she getting it, she just slapping it, inside the courtroom and presenting it as evidence. And we all know that ain't how it go. I'm no lawyer. I don't claim to know the law like that, but I do know that much. You can't how can you expect for me to defend myself if I don't know what I'm defending myself against? Does that make sense? Nah. And apparently these sideboards was going on for a long time. You know, I stuck my head in every now and then and tried to see what was going on. But uh, Miss Love got to be stopped. She part of the reason that Judge Glanville is gone because he was allowing it. And this judge her resembles Judge Glanville to me, character-wise. You know, they both pretty much the same type people. And since this is a recording, we not waiting on all the sideboards. So bear with me, y'all. We gonna skip right on through this. Oh, that's a long sidebar. Here we go.
About some things.
Okay.
So, Mr. Shart and the state disagree on number 14, page 81, line 22 to 82, line 2. The portion that the court kept out was, yeah, I told him Shannon hot-headed. The line after that, we have that it is included and available for impeachment purposes. They all want names for themselves. They want names for themselves. And when I asked the witness on the stand, I was looking to go back to see all that I asked him, but I don't have that transcript in front of me. But he said when I asked him, it's everything that he said about the 3 people who are currently on trial. Or why is it that everything you say about them, you can remember they didn't say, or you told a lie, but you can't remember anything else. That would allow what he is saying here to be an inconsistent statement about them wanting names for themselves. That is the one area that there's disagreement on. There were 2, so the other one is.
Your Honor, can I respond to that one?
One at a time. And so the state had that it could be used for impeachment.
Yes.
The state keeps taking the stance that as long as something was, and I'm not conceding that it was a prior inconsistent statement because I don't recall them asking that, but they seem to be taking the stance that as long as something's a prior inconsistent statement, it's automatically admissible. And this is speculation. It's speculating about my client's intent in doing something that he wasn't even there for. So that was the foundation is, did my client say, hey, I did this and this is why? And that foundation was never laid. It's not a matter of prior inconsistent statement.
Right. Yeah. And what you had was that it was out unless a foundation was laid.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, Your Honor, that's, I'd ask that the court check the court's notes because there was
So I can't find my notes, unfortunately. I don't have any idea where they went to.
Because our notes are specifically that it can be used for impeachment purposes. And the argument that his client wasn't there is belied by the witness's statement to the police that he was, which the court is requiring that we keep out because the court ruled that it has to be kept out. About, I don't know why he's saying his client wasn't there.
I didn't say my client was.
It's just what he just said.
I said that.
No, that's not what he said.
He just said my client wasn't there. He literally just said my client wasn't there.
Okay, but that's not why it's being kept out.
I'm aware. You mean?
I mean, the ruling would have been, I mean, it's the same thing as the similar one that we talked about yesterday. I would have said, lay a foundation that he actually knew that and it wasn't just his speculation.
Your Honor, this is someone who, during the course of this entire interview with the police and certainly around this area, talked about his relationship with and how much time he spent with this defendant. I believe that as a member of YSL and as a person that we see throughout each of their social media pages, associating themselves with one another, not just Mr. Stillwell's, but Mr. Zachary's, that the jury should be allowed to hear what Mr. Zachary's observations were. If he observes that they are acting in a way, and he hears them on some occasions say, let's go get that money.
All right, here's the thing, is that you didn't establish that this was based on his personal observation or that he heard them say things like this or that he had such a confidential, close relationship with Mr. Stillwell that they shared all of this kind of thing. You just didn't establish it.
Your Honor, that is because the witness would not acknowledge it. But the fact that he does, having listened to his interview multiple times, he establishes it in the interview. And that is the reason that we are saying the jury should be allowed to hear all of what he said so that they can determine which version of the truth they believe, the one where he's sitting in front of the defendants saying now everything I said about them is a lie, or the version where he gives intricate details about his interactions with the defendant and the way or what he observed during those interactions. There are moments where he said Woody was curled up on the couch. He was scared to go.
Okay,
you know, that's just
talking
an example.
about his relationship with Woody right now.
I'm giving an example of his observations, the type of details that he gave in the interview. And so as it relates to defendant Stillwell, he's telling the police how many when he interacts with them, what happens during the interaction. He's telling them when they started associating, they ask questions like,
Miss Love, I understand all of that. If it's just based on what's all in the interview, it seemed to me at the time, and nothing was established to convince me that this was anything more than his theorizing about what it was. And the rules of evidence are there for a reason. It's not that I want this in or I want this out. It's that it has not been established that he has a basis to say this beyond his own musings about it. And therefore the ruling stands. What's the next one? What's the next one?
Okay, so I'm sorry that the first one was that it was, so it wasn't for impeachment purposes. It was something different. Okay. So the second one was, the call that the court addressed either later last week or earlier last week regarding, it was in August that the court addressed the call about them putting Shannon, Pokey, Woody, and Mr. Zachary when they were at Big Boo's grandmother's house, and Boo got a call from Mushi, and $10,000 was put on the head of anybody who set out to harm Lucci.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Zachary said that in his interview that Woody came in. It was stated there's $10,000 on the head.
Okay, is there a transcript reference?
Line page 22. I'm sorry, page 109, line 25 to page 111, line 4, and the court number 22, redaction request number 22. I don't know if the court's.
I don't
Nope.
seem to have the chart. If I could find the chart, then I would have my notes. But anyway,
Our chart says that it's in. I don't know what
show me what the chart looks like.
It was
Just
they tried to revisit this yesterday.
No, it didn't.
show me what the chart looks like.
Don't
Just
show
turn
me
it
the chart.
around and let me see it.
Mr. Atkins is coming up to the
Oh,
court.
is this something y'all gave me before, or this is just your own chart
No,
of my?
we used it, and we gave you a copy of it, and that's how we were referencing it in the arguments.
Your Honor, if I may,
Yes.
Mr. Shard's redaction chart that he sent to the court in state, that is the same list that when we went through the redactions in court, those 2 days or 2 days and a half,
Wasn't that?
and it was labeled from the 2015 interview 1 through, I believe Mr. Shard's last redaction was 43. And for reference, this is Mr. Shard's redaction request number 22.
And I think that Mr. Atkins went over all of this last week. Do we not?
Okay, and what I wrote next to 22 was only to Kenneth Copeland or Zachary, not Stillwell.
And that is, my understanding is that Mr. Shard is arguing that the call itself, the fact that there was the call and he's arguing that all of that came out, and we have that it is not out.
Yeah.
Well, the trick is, Your Honor, in this.
Can you try to use your mic?
In this transcript, in this passage, there are several references to we. That in the context, it's clear that Copeland is spilling the beans not only on himself, but on Shannon. So, for instance, I don't know if Your Honor has the transcript.
I do.
Okay, so for instance, 110, line 20. No, they said they did it. 111, line, where is it? There's 111, line 4. He like, man, we just shot up Lucci Mama's house. So there's things that in that spilling the beans by Copeland that in the context of this interview as it's played to the jury is going to implicate Shannon. I understand. Now I don't agree that this proves anything, but I understand the evidentiary rulings that Mr. Zachary at one time claimed he was in this room and he saw Shannon and Kenneth Copeland and they left and then they came back, and I understand a phone call came in. But what Kenneth Copeland said while they were in that room is hearsay that does not fit into an exception, and it implicates my client. So that's, of course, I would love if it just all came out. It would be cleaner, and also I'd prefer it. But if we definitely need to, as was your ruling from the beginning, we need to clean up what Woody said insofar as it implicates my client.
Well, do you have a proposal for how to do that?
Take out what Woody said.
Short of that? I mean, is there something in here that it's, there's a Stillwell reference that can be cleaned up? What was the number for that first one y'all were talking about?
Your Honor, the first one was number 14. And the state does have a proposal when the court's ready.
See, this is what I mean about the state be building their case as they go.
So, Your Honor, there was 3 requested redactions that all pertain to the shooting of Mr. Bennett's mother's home. And so number 21, Mr. Shard's request number 21, the court, as the court just stated, permitted the state to address as long as it didn't pertain to defendant Stillwell. And so Zachary has a line when he's saying who committed this act, where he says Woody, Shannon, and Little Pokey. So the state is redacting where he says Shannon, so that later on when he references they or we, the jury will not hear that he definitively states Shannon.
Okay.
Well,
that ought to solve it.
Well, that doesn't solve the problem. Is we'd have to redact, and I don't think the state's going to agree to this, but we'd have to redact Shannon from the whole story, because it's not just that Woody at one point says
we did it, essentially. Yeah.
It's not so much that Quindarius Zachary says, I mean, clearly I want that out, but also in Quindarius Zachary's telling of this story, Shannon is with Woody in the beginning, which he saw with his own eyes. I understand why that would come in, but what I'm saying is the references to Shannon are not limited to the conclusory statement.
Well, I mean, that's just going to be what it is.
Okay, so we're taking out the conclusory thing, but
the specific, naming of the people, because I had said that could only come in if it was established that Stillwell was there when Mr. Copeland said we did it, and that wasn't established.
So the court, with respect to Shannon, that is the ruling that we
right. So if you redact that word, then when later on it doesn't sound like it's Shannon, it sounds like it's the two of them that he's already mentioned. So that fixes that.
But he can say, and we can get in the fact that Shannon, Woody told Shannon and Pokey, let's ride.
Yes.
Okay.
See, and that's my problem, Your Honor. I think that they inescapably refers to Shannon in the mind of the jurors, even if we take out the one conclusory line.
Well, I mean, that may be what you think, but that's the way we're going to handle it.
Okay, I understand. And just for the record, Your Honor, it is the lines that I'm concerned about on the transcript are 111, line 4, where it says, he like man, we just shot up Lucci's mama's house, and page 10, line 20, where it says, no, they said they did it.
Okay, well, I don't agree that it still sounds like Shannon when only certain people were named and he's not one of them.
I understand the court's ruling.
Okay, what's the next one?
I think there's the only two, but I just.
Oh, I thought y'all said there were 3.
He's shaking his head.
Okay, all right.
I just need to make sure, I would like to make sure with the witness that those 2 areas are clearly understood. We bring her out here and something's said.
All right, And actually, for the number 14 that we were discussing before, my notes were that y'all had come to agreement about that. The one of that the very first one that we took up.
We agreed on hot-headed. They all want names for themselves is the portion that we have noted before allowed us to use for impeachment purposes. Yesterday, I asked the court to allow us to include the hot-headed. The court denied the request, so the only thing that, and I said that that was something we previously agreed on, the hot-headed, and the court denied that request, but the rest of it, the court said that it could be used for impeachment purposes.
Okay, so my note on that, now that I have the notes, is that y'all had agreed that I didn't make a ruling, that y'all had agreed that the character about Shannon was out except to show moving up because wanted to make names. So if y'all are no longer in agreement, then my ruling would be a foundation was not established. So I think we're ready for the witness and the jury.
Come on, let's get this party started. Love over there, steady panicking, steady trying to build a case.
I want to make certain that all the court's rulings are understood and that I articulate them to her so that we don't get into, because I will be asking questions to avoid some of this. And I want to make certain that we don't get into any.
Okay. Let's, if you can do that fairly quickly, because we've had the jury waiting for 40 minutes already.
At this point, if I'm the jury, one of the jurors over there, right? Can you imagine how they feeling right now? Like, I could see this working against the state. I was just sitting here thinking, like, $25 a day, for real? Y'all done had me in here about a year. I'm gonna go at that point. There's got to be some animosity against the state. So, and not only that, they couldn't possibly be keeping up with Miss Love antics. The switching of judges, that's been thrown them off, and then we had a nice little layover in between the switching of the judges. Miss Love be laying us now. She told this woman 5-10 minutes ago, let's get the jurors and the witness in her. And I bet she don't have a witness right now that's ready and prepared to go. That's why she's stalling. None of her witnesses ever show up for her until they forced.
All right, let's go ahead and get the witness in.
For the second time.
We are waiting on both of Mr. Williams' attorneys. I have to tell them not to go to the bathroom at the same time. You can come on up to the stand. You are. Yeah, she's already testified. You already have been testifying in this case. All right, I'll just, when the jury gets sent, go ahead and have a seat for now. As we're waiting on one of the attorneys anyway, I'll just remind you that you've already been sworn. I need one of them back. All right, let's go ahead and get the jury. I'm sure it's somewhere. All right, thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for your patience while we sorted out some evidentiary matters this morning. All right, so we have Detective Gaither on the stand now, and I'll just remind you, ma'am, that you are still under oath. Go ahead, Ms. Love.
Thank you, Your Honor, and welcome back, Sergeant Gaither. Sergeant Gaither, would you please tell the jury whether during your investigation of events that happened in 2015 as they related to If Gang and YSL, you had an occasion to interview Quindarius Zachary on August the 5th, 2015?
Yes.
All right. And at the time that you interviewed him, did you call him to be interviewed, or did he or someone on his behalf reach out to you?
Yeah, there were a couple people on his behalf that reached out to me,
Okay.
stating that he wanted to talk to me.
Okay. And I'm going to.
Yeah.
Microphone.
I'm going to give you one that might work a little bit better. Okay. And had you left your number with family members of his, as you have in other cases, if they wanted to reach out with you?
Yes.
And is that the way that family member contacted you?
Yes.
All right. Was Quindarius Zachary brought over to the Atlanta Police Department from the Fulton County Jail?
Yes.
All right. Now, is it the custom that when a person comes in to see you, you make any observations about whether or not they're in any condition to talk? And by that, I mean, if someone's sloppy drunk, or if they're obviously under the influence, or...
Yes.
And if they are in no condition, by your estimation, to talk, do you continue to talk with them anyway, or do you send them back, or?
No, I don't talk to anyone that's under the influence or under distress or anything. We'll just revisit it at another time.
Okay. And when you spoke to Quindarius Zachary on August the 5th of 2015, did he appear to be in any physical distress from withdrawals or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Did you see any sign that he was under the influence or in pain or anything like that, that would have prohibited him from clearly understanding questions that were asked?
No.
At any time, did you force him to sit down and talk to you?
No, it's people were calling me nonstop for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. So I just kind of took my time and let them sit there a minute, and picked them up when I was ready.
Okay. And at any time outside of that interview room, did you convey threats? Did you tell anybody, if he doesn't speak to me, something bad is going to happen?
No, ma'am.
All right. Did you make any promises to him outside of that interview room through other people?
No.
Okay. And inside the interview room, did you tell him, let me back up. Are you allowed to tell people, if you do this, I will get your charges thrown out?
I'm not allowed to do that.
And did you tell Quindarius Zachary that?
No.
Now, to be clear, during the course of his conversation with you on August 5th, 2015, at some point did he broach the subject of whether or not you all were going to be able to help him out with any of his charges?
He did.
Right. And did you tell him at that time that you were going to get him thrown out?
No, I did not.
All right. Your Honor, can we get access to the Zoom?
Unfortunately, I don't have access to the Zoom right now either, and I had just typed my team to let me in.
All right.
So maybe if somebody's listening up in my chambers, they could let Ms. Love and the court in, please. Normally, Ms. Persefield does that, but she had to step
What a
out and
show.
deal with another matter. So
While they're doing that, I'll continue with the questions. When you spoke to Quindarius Zachary in August, had you already gotten, you remember when you talked to the jury last time about the Dexter Montgomery shooting?
Yes.
All right. And do you remember speaking to them about the surveillance footage that you were able to look at from that shooting?
Yes.
All right. Now, during your interview with Mr. Zachary, did you show him surveillance footage from the Dexter Montgomery shooting?
I showed him still shots, not actual footage.
Okay. And when you say still shots, would you explain what you mean?
Basically screen grabs or images of people that were depicted in the actual video. We just took a picture of that particular person and printed it out onto paper.
Okay. I'm going to show you what I believe has already been admitted as states 308 Yankee. And I'm going to ask you, it was in here. if you recognize, states 308 Yankee. And Your Honor, this does not have the sticker affixed to it. This is the exhibit that was labeled 308 Yankee.
Okay.
So I'm showing this to her, and
Okay.
I'll get the exhibit.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you showed this image to Mr. Zachary in the interview, and for the record, it was 503 Yankee.
503. And it
And
was
it
that
has-
already admitted?
It was.
And I'm sorry, just like for housekeeping, are we going to get an exhibit sticker on it or?
Yes.
Okay.
It's actually the one that we admitted does have the exhibit sticker on it.
Oh, it's a copy of the, okay,
Yes.
no problem.
And so you spoke with Mr. Zachary. Did you have any reason to believe that he was at or anywhere around the Browns Mill Road area at the time that that image was captured on the surveillance footage?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Would you tell the jury what it was that you showed him that footage for? Why it was that you showed him that footage?
To help further that investigation, see if he can identify people that we had not previously identified involved in the Dexter Montgomery shooting.
Okay.
We knew that he was affiliated with persons that we were able to identify. So while we had him there, why not ask him?
Who was it that he was affiliated with that you were able to identify as being involved in that Dexter Montgomery shooting?
Walter Murphy.
Okay. What did you know about Mr. Zachary's affiliation or relationship with Walter Murphy?
We knew that both of them claimed to be YSL, so I assumed they knew each other.
Okay. And did Mr. Zachary confirm knowing Walter Murphy?
Yes, he did.
Did he call him Walter Murphy or did he use another name?
He called him DK.
All right. That was in there. Can you pull this? Don't share it. Yeah. What's the number? Okay. I'm going to show you, and Your Honor, because it's a digital image, counsel for defense has been provided this, but I want them to see what I'm walking to the witness with. May I be permitted to show them what I'm showing the witness?
All right.
All right. Miss Knight, that was 5. I'm going to show you what is 531 Yankee, a video on the screen. And I'm going to ask you, have you reviewed this video prior to coming in?
I have.
And is it a fair and accurate copy of the interview that you conducted with Quindarius Zachary on August 5th, 2015?
Yes.
Did you see any alterations or material changes?
No.
Okay. Your Honor, the state tender states 531 Yankee as evidence.
All right. That's admitted with, as we already discussed.
All right. Your Honor, I ask permission to publish.
You may.
And just for decorum's sake, I ask permission to seat myself while I publish it so that I don't.
Yeah, like I say, if I was the jury or a juror, I'd have been clocked out.
Your Honor,
Yeah, like I say, about the jury.
Is that one available?
it's up. I just,
Okay, yeah.
That was a shot at Detective Gator guy that came in, seen that head real quick.
Food, I got dogs, no, I can eat food. Like food like that. I don't know, liquor that.
well, as you know, you contacted us. You want to come down here and make a statement about these cases that we have. Y'all been getting on my darn nerves calling me. So we here. But even though you reached out to us wanting to talk, I still gotta advise you your rights, okay? Let's say yes, you gotta say yes, no. Just so you're fully aware of your rights. Spell your first and last name.
There is a QUINDARUS ZACHARY.
What's your birthday?
8/21/93.
8/20.
21/93.
What's your address?
445 Cleveland Avenue.
From over there.
About to basically I can move to vacation.
Because of that bank money. What's the zip over there?
0354.
0354. Now how tall you are?
6, I mean like 5'10".
How much you weigh?
169.
Your brown eyes, black hair.
I ain't brown.
Your eyeball, meaning the colored part is brown. What's the highest grade level you completed?
Graduated.
I know people graduated 8th grade. Did you graduate high grade?
High school
12th grade.
What else did you do? I don't know, but I graduated from current.
What year?
I think 09.
Be careful. Now, this the part right here where they gonna get the YSL game. Not on what they charging them with, but they gonna come back behind this with uh perjury. Now you heard him say he graduated from high school, 12th grade. Now if you've been watching it with me just a couple of trial dates ago, it might have been even the last, not the last one because I didn't even record the last one, but maybe what, day 137? He said he couldn't read. I'm gonna keep it moving though, y'all. I just want to put that bug in your ear real quick.
You got a phone number?
I'm on no 44. 5.
Phone name again?
Kyler Jeffery, KAL.
And Your Honor, just for the record, the state also muted the phone number of his mother.
happened? Yeah. That's who lives at Cleveland. Alright. Let's go over this Miranda form. What's your middle initial? Yeah. T. What that stand for? Tashana. TYSHON. Basically states Aquindary Zachary has been informed by the undersigned law enforcement officers prior to being questioned by them that I am suspected of the offense of aggravated assault, which is what you charged with for the two drive-bys in Fulton County, state of Georgia, on the 28th day of April 2015. That's the date that the incident happened, April 28th, 2015, okay? I'm going to go through these one by one. If it's something that you don't understand, stop me, let me know I don't understand, and we're going to go over it, okay? Yeah. Your first right is that you have a right to remain silent and not have to make any statements. Do you understand that? Yeah. That any statement that I make may be used against me in a court of law. Do you understand that? That I have the right to consult with my attorney and before making statements and to have said attorney present with me while I'm making the statement. You get that? That if I do not have enough money to employ an attorney, that I have the right to have one appointed to me by the courts to represent me and to consult with him before making any statements and have him present with me while I am making the statement. Do you get that? That if I request an attorney, no questions will be asked of me until my attorney is present to represent me. Do you understand that? Has anybody coerced you or forced you or threatened you to come down here and make a statement? You sure? No. No, you're not sure? I mean, I'm sure, but ain't nobody forced me. Okay. Can you read it? Oh, okay. Can you read and write English? Yeah. And I have had read to you. Today is the what? 5th, 2/6/17. What's what? If you would, initial by each of those, and then if you still agree to talk to us, sign down at the X.
It was almost a must that Detective Gator showed up. She interviewed all these boys. Lil D, Lil Woody, Lil Woody, all of them.
Let's talk about this, what you've been charged with. What do you have to say about that case? I went there that night. You wasn't where? What did you hear about it? Where? Something came to the house when you up to my DJ got jumped. I'm like, so? And then, you was at the house in Cleveland? Yeah. The apartment, after you said? 4 or 5 years. And then, that's when she told me, that she had got shot at too. That same night? Yeah, she said. They got in a whole bunch of them, and then like this gang had pulled up at my cousin's house. My cousin go with this boy named Tate. Y'all know him? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Javante. Yeah. I don't know his name, but she was going in the house. And she said y'all started shooting at the house. Like they were shooting from the apartment. She said, where is this house located at? What you talking about?
Landrum apartment.
Landrum and Zone 4?
On campus.
Off campus?
Yeah.
So who stay over there again?
My cousin Liz, right? And Tate.
That's what Javante said?
Yeah.
She your blood cousin?
Yeah.
I mean, you know how people say?
No, that's my real cousin.
So his gang got to shoot at them at Landrum?
Yeah.
Is this before or after D got shot at? Got jumped on?
She say they haven't led. It's after all the shooting.
So first D get jumped on, then the shootings happen.
I'll tell you, like, from how I heard, like, what I heard first.
Okay.
I like, shit, most of them call me or something in the morning, they know that.
Mm-hmm.
But she like, most of them cussing D out, because D telling them that he was shooting him, they had shoot him in the face and something. Most of them told D that he had fight around home. And then that was she like, then that was D told, I would sleep, D told me that morning, like, they had shot up the house.
D told you that, say that you kind of skimmed over that part. When you say D, you talking about Demekion, right?
They real name.
You talking about Lil D from 30D,
yeah.
like Mechanicsville? Demekion.
Demekion told me that they had shot at the houses.
That who had shot at the houses?
Him, Tay,
and
who it was? Shannon. He just told me nothing. He said him, Tay, Shannon, and some other boy named Trey Dunn. Being Tay.
Named Trey Dunn?
Yeah.
He told you personally?
Yeah.
How did he tell you over the phone? In your face?
Yeah, he was on my house. I was sitting there like he told me that they had shot the house, he said, and then what's called that they shot up Larry where Tay stayed.
So his gang came back and shot up Tay house?
Yeah, someone right there. Like, I guess that was she was gonna go that night. And he said that when they went and Pierre home. That when they went and shot up Pierre home.
Who went up and shot up Pierre home?
Him, Tay, Shannon, Trey Dunn. He told me them full name. He already said them about Moonton. But I kind of feel Moonton with that.
Why you figure that?
I think I ain't got no call.
Wow.
How close are you on Moonton?
You know, my whole life. I told my dad my dad and him, they grew up here.
So you got a lot of loyalty to Moonton.
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I ain't got nothing. I had some on him, but he ain't got nothing to me.
How you know he ain't got nothing for you?
Shoot. But I ain't been talking to him lately.
Have you talked to him since you've been in jail?
Have I talked to him since I've been in jail? Yeah.
I mean, since he's been in, because you went in first.
Yeah. So he told me that Demekion told y'all why he was scared, you tricked him.
Demekion sat in that exact same chair, and you're gonna get the exact same treat that Demekion. I don't have to trick people or lie, because phone records say you're a grown man. Right. And
it's my trick.
And that's what I'm saying. I feel like you kind of getting off track, because we got your phone records too.
Mine? Yes, sir. What phone record?
This is what we do. Remember when we locked you up the last time?
Yeah.
We went to the house and we ended up getting your phone number and stuff. And I got your phone record. Because that was your phone number, right?
No, that ain't my number.
Okay. Well, like I said, we can stop this right now because it's going in the wrong direction. And I don't want to waste your time or mine. Because this shit don't matter to me. My shit is good. This is what's going to fuck y'all. I got Demekion. Y'all, everybody thinking Demekion snitching. This is Demekion's phone number, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I got Demekion. I got yours.
And wait, one more.
And I got more. 662, whatever. So I don't have no reason why.
So the media ain't necessarily had to tell it. You know what I'm saying? Technology told it.
So that's what I'm saying. That's why I wasn't pressed about coming to get you and coming to talk to none of y'all. Y'all don't want to talk to me? That's fine. This is the opportunity for y'all to say yourself. This is what's going to fuck y'all. So I feel like, once again, you kind of going in the wrong direction. You said you're going to come down here and just be honest about shit.
I'm being honest.
You wasn't there.
Oh. My pronoun window.
So then we really ain't got much to talk about. This shit is on you. It ain't on me.
See, I don't want to talk about other cases.
You need to talk, but you need to get over this first.
That's what you're here on.
Yeah, because I think you thinking that you can tell us about a whole bunch of other shit and then get some help on your shit, but you got to be honest about what you're here for. That's how that works. It don't just work like you tell me a whole bunch of shit and then we just forget about your stuff. You got to be honest with what you got going on.
Me, Monton, Shannon, Tay, Traydon, and D.
Which car was you in? There was two cars, right?
Yeah, I was in car Monton.
Which was which car?
And Pop.
What color?
Gray.
Who all was in the car with you?
Me, Monton, Shannon, and D.
And Traydon and...
They was in another Impala.
What color was that Impala?
Like, I heard the burgundy or something. SS.
Okay. The new one or old one?
Same year, Monton car, bro. 08, something like that.
Okay. How did you all know where they stayed?
Traydon. Not Traydon, Tay.
How does Tay know?
Cause he said he been beef with them before.
So he knew where they stayed at over there on Mosley Park on the death address is 1428 Dale Avenue. Over there by Mosley Park, right? How did you even get involved in the mix? Because you wasn't at the club, were you? How did you even get involved?
When he shot his song.
So,
but
where did they shoot at Summer at?
Atlanta.
So they shot it before. Is this the same night?
Yeah. They shot at Summer on first.
Okay.
And they shot it I think they did shoot at the club. I don't know about the club.
So Summer was at Landrum Arms with Alexis and Tay.
Yeah.
They were in which car? Or were they in
she went with Tay. She with Lex.
Okay.
They haven't got there yet.
Okay. They in the car or they inside the park?
Yeah, they in the car.
They in the car?
Yeah, they in Summer car. They going in the house.
Okay.
And she said they started shooting, but they shooting from way, not further like me. They shoot from way in her further like.
Did they make a police report?
I don't know.
You know, if anybody calls the police or anything, did the police show up out there?
I'm pausing it now at 2:26:51. I'm sorry, yes, 2:26:51. Sergeant Gator, as I turn this microphone back on. Now, did you have an opportunity yesterday even to review and listen to this video recording of this interview that you did with Quindarius Zachary?
Yes.
And if you would lean in or bring that microphone a little bit closer to you, would you tell the jury who that is in the room with you and Mr. Zachary?
Detective Dennis.
All right. Now, as you listen to the interview, are you able to hear as clearly and as well as you were sitting face to face with Quindarius Zachary what it was that he was saying to you? Or did you understand that question?
I think I did. I mean, he appeared. I appeared to understand what he was saying. It was clear.
And what I'm asking is, as you sat in the room with him on August the 5th of 2015, were you able to hear him clearer or more clearly than you are listening to him on the video?
Yes.
All right. And having watched the video, are you able to recall and tell the jury if there are things that aren't as clear as we listen to it here today?
Some things, yes.
Okay. When you showed Quindarius Zachary a phone number, was that the phone number for his mother, or was that the phone number that you had for Quindarius Zachary himself?
That was a phone number that he utilized himself.
All right. And where had you gotten that phone number from?
His mother.
All right. Do you recall when it was or under what circumstances you got that phone number from his mother?
Yes.
Would you tell the jury about those?
I believe he was arrested early May for possession of a firearm. Shortly after that arrest, my team conducted a search warrant at his apartment off of Cleveland Avenue. in hopes of recovering other firearms that he had recently purchased and other evidentiary things. And at that time, I believe he was in jail, and his mother and some family members were in the apartment.
Okay.
And that's when I spoke with his mother, got his phone number, and also gave her my phone number and his girlfriend at the time my phone number.
Who was his girlfriend?
Summer.
Good?
Yeah, Summer Good.
All right. When Mr. Zachary, or you all asked Mr. Zachary, what is it that he wanted to talk to you all about? Did he say why he wanted you all to go first? Or did you hear him say, you go first, something to that effect?
Yeah, I think I asked him, what did he want to talk about? And from previous experiences, I know that when interviewing people, they want you to say what you know, and that way they can work their lives around what you already know, or get away from telling you the actual truth. So I leave it up to them to start it off, and he appeared to kind of be evasive and wanted to tell me about other shootings and incidents as opposed to what I wanted to know about the shootings from April 28th.
And when you told him that you wanted to talk to him about what he had been charged with, and he responded, I wasn't there that night.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do? What did you accept that as fact, or did you ask him, well, what did you do? Your Honor, there is also context that she can give that she has said she was clearly able to hear and discern in the interview room more clearly than perhaps can be heard on the video.
I don't know that it's been established that anybody's unable to hear it on the video. Sustained.
Okay. So when you asked him in the video, you weren't where, well, what do you hear about? Did you know, or did someone tell you before you had gotten into the interview room what it was that he wanted to talk to you about?
His family members said that he wanted to talk to me about his case and other stuff.
Sustained.
And Your Honor, it's explaining what she was expecting and why she responded the way that she responded. So,
Sustained.
yes, Your Honor. Now, when he began explaining to you that Summer had called him or had come waking him up saying that D had just got jumped, at that time, did you have any information about D or Demikion getting jumped on April the 28th?
Yes.
And where was it that he had gotten jumped based on the information you had?
At Club Crucial.
And that's what, 2517 Donnelly Hollowell?
Sound about right. Yes.
At the time that Quindarius Zachary told you that she had gotten, or that Summer said that they had gotten into a whole bunch of shooting and that they had pulled up at his cousin's house, Alexis Bryant. Did you know the name Alexis Bryant?
I can't recall if I heard it or not.
At any point during the course of this investigation into these retaliatory shootings, did you hear the name or did you learn about an Alexis Bryant outside of the interview with Quindarius Zachary?
Yes.
What about Tay or Threat?
Yes.
What can you tell the jury about who that is, Tay or Threat?
I've been familiar with Tay or Trevante Turner for a while. He was a documented gang member. I believe he was MDC. Had several cases with involving him.
Okay.
Prior to this.
All right. And when You say Trevante, and he says, I don't know his name, and goes on to name other people.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with those other people that he names as well?
I am.
When Quindarius Zachary tells you that Moontunk had been cussing D out, did you know who Moontunk was?
I did.
Who was Moontunk?
Antonio Sledge.
Before you heard Quindarius Zachary tell you or talk to you about Moontunk, did you know who Antonio Sledge was?
I did.
Right. And had you documented Moontunk or Antonio Sledge as being a member of any particular gang?
I did.
Which gang?
YSL.
All right. What about Demekion or D? Had you documented him as being a member of any particular gang?
Object. Hearsay confrontation clause.
Overruled.
Yes.
What gang had Demekion been documented as belonging to?
As initially 30 Deep, and later on we added a subset of YSL.
Okay. And when you said you're talking about Lil D from 30 Deep, is that what you meant, the gang 30 Deep?
Yes.
All right. And is 30 Deep a gang that operated in the Mechanicsville area of Atlanta?
It is.
When Quindarius Zachary first mentioned If Gang,
Mm-hmm.
did you know what he was talking about?
I did.
Okay. And how was it that you knew what he was talking about?
I was familiar with If Gang, Inglewood family, as well as the recent beef between the two groups.
The recent what now?
Beef between Inglewood family and YSL/30 Deep.
And when you say beef, what do you mean?
Conflict.
Okay. When Quindarius Zachary talked about Perry Homes, where is that located?
Northwest Atlanta, near Johnson Road, Marietta Boulevard area, Perry Boulevard.
Does that still exist?
Perry Homes?
Yes.
No, it's some apartments, but it's not the actual Perry Homes projects that it was.
And do you remember the address that Perry Homes, generally what street was on Perry Homes?
I believe it's Drew Drive, Johnson, an area of Johnson Road, Marietta Boulevard. I believe it's 1903.
1903 Drew Drive?
I believe so, something like that.
All right. And when Quindarius Zachary talked about that's when they went and shot up Perry Homes, who did you understand him to be talking about having shot up Perry Homes?
Four people that he had just referenced?
Okay. Moontunk,
Shannon, Tay, Lil D.
Now, at the time, did you know or understand Shannon to be any particular person?
Yes.
Who did you understand Shannon to be?
A member of 30 D.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. Hearsay confrontation clause, also ultimate issue, invading the province.
Overruled.
You may answer.
A member of 30 Deep, and also we added a subset of YSL to his profile as well.
And Shannon, did he have a last name? Did you know his last name at the time you were listening to Quindarius Zachary?
Yes.
And what is his last name?
Previously, we knew him as Shannon Stillwell, and a few years later, it was Shannon Jackson. So,
but that's the same person, Shannon Stillwell.
Yes.
Before Quindarius Zachary mentioned Shannon, Tay, D, and Moonton shooting up Drew Drive, did you tell him that that's what you wanted to talk to him about, Drew Drive? Before you went into the room, did you say anything about, I want to know Shannon's involvement?
No, ma'am.
Did you tell any member of his family, I want to know Shannon's involvement in the shooting on Drew Drive?
No.
Before you spoke with Quindarius Zachary in that room and he said, I kind of figured Moontoon was there though, did you tell him you wanted him to tell you about Moontoon's involvement in the shooting at Drew Drive?
No, I told him I wanted to know what his involvement was.
Okay. And when he said or spoke about people not having a car, when you asked him, why do you figure Moontoon was there? Did you understand him to mean who it was that he was saying had no car?
Yes.
Who?
Shannon and Little D.
Okay. Why did you ask Mr. Zachary about his loyalty to Moontoon? Do you recall asking him how close he was to Moontoon?
Yes.
And when he told you that his dad and Moontoon grew up together, and you asked about his loyalty, did he ever express anything different than, I have some for him, but he ain't got none for me?
I believe he did say that.
Okay. What made you ask him, had he talked to Moontoon since he had been in jail?
I knew Moontoon was arrested as well, and I kind of wanted to know if they were just trying to get their stories together to match. And he said that he spoke to him.
Okay. Now, that's an interesting thing. When you said you wanted to know if they were trying to get their stories together to match. Mm-hmm. Explain to the jury what you mean by that and why that was interesting or of note to you.
I like to have independent recollections of incidents, so I don't necessarily like if defendants talk and, again, try to get their stories to match to see what I know to sound more believable. So he didn't really go into detail if they spoke in depth or anything. He just said he spoke to him since he had been in jail.
At some point, did you speak with Antonio Sledge?
I did.
All right. And was whatever Antonio Sledge told you an exact match to what Quindarius Zachary told you?
No.
Okay. And when Quindarius Zachary told you that about his conversation with Moontoon, and that Demekion having said he was scared and you tricked him, did you all also talk to Demekion?
I did.
And is that Demekion Garlington?
It is.
Were Demekion Garlington's words an exact match to what Quindarius Zachary shared with you in the interview?
Confrontation clause, violation, hearsay.
Overruled.
Were they an exact?
You may. This might be a good time for our morning break anyway, so why don't y'all go ahead and have a restroom break. Mr. Steele, will you still need to approach?
Oh, the cameraman. He predicted a break coming. Hold on, squad. We're going to skip right on through this break because this pre-recorded, so. We live, but they not live. But if you've been following Mr. Follow Up and Fly High Production, you already know that. And if so, I'm going to say to you,
it's gonna take
salute, squad.
minutes if we break as well, so.
But yeah, we're going to fast forward right on through that. Before we get this about 30 more minutes before we start up part 2. I think they went on for maybe 5 or 6 hours today. But can you tell that the state is just
Good morning,
basically building a case as they go?
And to everyone. Your Honor,
Ain't really got nothing going
Meekin
on.
Garlington is accused in our indictment, and he's severed. There's
See
some
what Brian got to say.
wonderful parts of his interrogation by Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis. And I can't go into it because he's not being called as a witness. He's not being given immunity. For the state now to say, does Mrs. Zachary's statement, and I believe the words exactly match Mr. Garlington's interrogation, I'm objecting because I have no way of cross-examining that. I don't have Mr. Garlington here, and I'm not, this is like a backdoor way of shielding me and Mr. Adams from cross-examining Mr. Garlington, yet getting out some broad overview, exact, whatever exact means. And I'm objecting to it under Confrontation Clause and hearsay.
Okay, well, I understand the objection. I do not expect there to be any further, any kind of questioning that would try to get out what Mr. Garlington's interview does say.
Correct.
Okay. I mean, with that, I don't think that asking was it an exact match and getting an answer to that violates either of those things. So I'm overruling that objection.
Can we have a continuing, if you don't mind, objection?
You may, although I don't expect there to be any other questioning on that topic. All right. If anybody, I'm going to take a quick break if anybody else needs to do that now.
Like I say, we're going to fast forward right on through this. And I want y'all to take witness to this too. The judge, she pretty much, she said she's instead of being a referee, she's kind of coaching the state. And the part when I stuck my head in today, that's what made me say that. But I've been noticing that she do that a lot. But today, if you watch along with me, you'll be able to witness exactly what I'm talking about her. She literally gave Miss Love a question to ask the state. Miss Love asked the question, the defense objected, right? Miss Love tried to clean it up. She couldn't clean it up. So the judge broke in like, well, why don't you just ask them? And she asked the witness. But we'll get to it. Y'all see exactly what I'm talking about here. It's an unfair game. Let me fast forward so we can get to it. I know what y'all thinking. Who think Thug coming home though? I think a lot of these boys gonna get caught up on the perjury. I think that's what the state trying to set a lot of these boys. And I notice Miss Love always questioning around Woody. Anything that has to do with him, like threats, Tay. Woody brought him up.
Okay.
That's his best friend. That's to get Woody back in his courtroom again.
Before we get started, I wanted to just make sure that 477 Yankee.
Miss Love play a dirty game.
Yankee have already been.
All I'm gonna say is Karma gonna come back and bite her. It's not a pretty game she play either.
Mr. Zachary.
You said 477 and 482.
Yes. Why? As in Yankee.
477, yes. Yes, both of them.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Ready for the jury? Yes. Okay.
Get it rolling. Miss Stutterbox herself.
And Your Honor, is it okay if I
Simone
ask the
Hill.
last question, allow the witness to answer?
Yeah, I don't think we got an answer.
This
So.
woman here, she ain't had a chance to make her preview yet.
What is?
Is that? I'm gonna. It. Hold on.
That just remind me, somebody took a picture of one of the witnesses, right? Or one of the jurors, or either or, and leaked it to the social media. Or no, I'm lying. Emailed it out to some people, probably to be leaked. I wonder is it of Detective Gaither? We'll see though in a minute. We'll see.
Thank you. Go ahead, Miss Love.
Thank you, Sergeant Gaither. Before we broke, I think I asked you if what Demikion Garlington told you was an exact match to what Mr. Zachary told you.
No.
At some point, did you all speak with Kenneth Copeland during the course of this investigation into these shootings in 2015?
Yes.
And did you speak with him multiple times?
Yes.
Was what Kenneth Copeland told you in either of the interviews during either of the times that you talked to him ever an exact match to what Mr. Zachary shared with you on August 5th, 2015?
No.
Vague, exact match.
Overruled.
So then, object, Your Honor. The jurors heard the statements of Mr. Copeland. They make that decision, not this witness.
That's ultimately true.
Outside of any interviews that were captured on video during any interactions with Kenneth Copeland, did he ever give you an exact match of what Mr. Zachary shared with you on August 5th?
Or other.
Is there a foundation for that question?
I can make a foundation. When you took Kenneth Copeland, or when Kenneth Copeland was brought over after he was arrested at the Dunbar Center, was he interviewed?
Yes.
And did you help transport him?
No.
Okay. Are you aware of any statements by Kenneth Copeland that are an exact match to anything?
Same objection.
Yeah, okay. So, are there any statements by Kenneth Copeland that aren't reduced to writing or on video?
By you? Were there any interviews or statements?
That you know of by anybody? having to do with this set of circumstances?
Not by myself or investigated innocent.
Do you know of any from anybody else? Okay. Then move on to the next question.
And when you told Mr. Zachary, Demekion sat in that exact same chair. Was that after you had interviewed Mr. Garlington? In other words, okay. And did you ever try to trick anybody?
No.
I'm going to continue playing, Your Honor, at 2:27:48.
Okay. She can tell me what happened. Or I told her she can tell me what happened right up front. And then that one, I called Muktum. And Muktum told me that he was outside. Say they ain't want me to ride with. They wanted me to ride, but they didn't want me to ride.
What you mean?
Like, they wanted me to go with him, but I ain't have to do nothing.
So where were you seated?
I was sitting in the back seat.
Well, how were y'all sitting?
Huh?
Let's break that down.
Shannon's in the front, D right here. I'm on this side, Muktum drive.
Whoa, let's break it down.
So Muktum driving, Shannon front passenger. You sitting behind Shannon?
Yeah.
And Demekion behind Muktum?
Yeah.
Okay. So what exactly did they say they was gonna do? Like, why were they picking you up?
Oh, now you to
Say that passenger, seating chart one more time. Montum driver, Shannon front passenger.
me and D.
And then
The other D.
Demekion.
Yeah. We went to take them. They was in different car.
What kind of car? You said the orange SS?
Yeah, burger. It wasn't a car.
Orange one. Who car is that?
The boy turned on.
Is that his real name or is that like a fake name? Just Trey Duncan?
I didn't know him because
What gang he in?
Or who he affiliated with? I don't. They supposed to be blood, but like no, just like regular gangs. I don't know what regular gangs. They supposed to be blood.
So, who all was in the car when they came and picked you up?
When Muktum came pick me up, Muktum Shannon and D.
Okay, Muktum Shannon D was in the car and came and picked you up. Where'd y'all go?
We went to Perry home. When that lad went to the house on MLK. Shannon D and Tay got out the car. Me and Muktum stayed in.
Shannon D and Tay got out the car and did what?
They went to shot at the house.
What kind of gun did Shannon have?
Shannon had a Draco 762.
Where is that gun at now?
I don't know.
Whose gun is that?
I don't know. They already had the gun.
What color is it?
Like a chocolate.
Like a chocolate?
Like 8.
I said, what color is it? Brown. What kind of gun is it?
They had a 762 too, AK. It looked like a deer gun, but it looked like a what? It looked like a big old deer gun, but it was an AK, you see?
What about Demekion?
He had a Muktum gun.
Which was what?
That gun I got caught with.
And you didn't shoot?
Nah.
But don't you you went and bought like 3, 4 firearms?
Yeah. Who tricked me out of those?
They tricked you out of all of them, man.
Yes, he did.
We gonna get to that though.
Right.
So, did Trey Don shoot any guns?
Nah, he was driving.
So he was driving. So the driver basically stayed in the car.
Yeah.
And you stayed in the car.
Yeah.
How far did they get up to the house?
I don't know, man. Muktum pulled way back. Like, they got up close to the house, though. I think like the front driver. I don't know if they got me up to the door. I know they got me driving. I seen that much. And And they shot that house. And then that way we went to Perry home.
Okay. And how did you guys know what apartment was at Perry Homes and who? Tay know what Philo girl? That was because that's Philo girl house, right?
That we used to hit baby moms.
Baby mom. So Tay knows them from the west side, basically.
Yeah.
Y'all don't really have
home together.
Right.
They beefed before too though. Like they said the mama knew that Tay shot at the house.
Mm-hmm. But how is it that, because Tay's not slime, how is it that Tay even rolling with Shannon and y'all like that?
Tay from Capitol Home. Me and moved to all of Capitol Home.
He originally from Capitol Home.
Yeah, and he's named Big Boo. No Big Boo.
Mm-hmm.
He's named Boo. Yeah. Always, we named Boo. Now we met Tay.
Okay, so he just cool with y'all from there.
And then, now we had went somewhere else before we went to Perry home.
What about?
Someone get some bullets or something.
From where?
So, somebody spot that DA on Cleveland.
Like somebody, like house or what's the spot?
A spot?
I mean, you gotta talk to me layman terms. I don't know.
A truck spot.
What kind of bullets did y'all get?
They ain't getting nothing for the truck. They got some. They got some. They ain't getting nothing the 223. They got some for the Sunset too.
Who had the 223? Tay?
This is the one that Demiki and I had. Mom time gun that shoot 223 rounds. So is that Monsoon's gun that had the double drum on it? Is that the one you talking about?
Yeah.
That's the one that you shoot?
So the gun that you got caught with on May 7th, that's Monsoon's gun.
Stupid.
Be real.
Need my gun to go for girl for that night.
He needed your gun.
It was small. That little gun y'all just got. That they just what's the house you got? The little bit gun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 40. What was it? The 40?
40 Smith & Wesson.
Mm-hmm.
So you need my gun to go for girl out.
So that's your 40.
Yeah.
Cause we just got him last week. Ain't had a chance to run it yet. But
I had just bought that gun like a day or two before.
Before that,
You know.
from on Boulevard, one of the apartment, 493 Boulevard.
Nah, I think I had bought.
I know. From Arrowhead. How do I know?
Yeah, I got a receipt.
I got something better for you.
Sergeant Gaither, at this point, at 2:34:22 in this interview, can you tell the jury what is being shown to Quindarius Zachary on Detective Dennis's phone?
Surveillance video from Arrowhead pawn shop of him purchasing firearm.
How did y'all get that? How did you all
down there and got it?
Okay. What was it that led you all to drive down to Arrowhead and get that surveillance footage?
We had receipts from where he purchased the firearms, and we ran his name. We had his name run through the federal system to see what all firearms he purchased and the locations, and that's how we were able to narrow it down to the Arrowhead pawn shop in Jonesboro.
When you talk about the federal registry or list or whatever that is, could you explain what that is that you are looking at to get his name? What is it?
The federal government basically has a database of purchased firearms. During this investigation, we worked hand in hand with the ATF, and we utilized them and assist them with checking names through their federal system.
Does that list or system from the federal government include firearms that are purchased illegally on the street?
No, it's just firearms that are purchased from gun shops, gun shows, or pawn shops.
When you said that you had receipts of guns that Quindarius Zachary had purchased, where did you get those receipts from?
From his apartment when we executed a search warrant.
And that was after his arrest in May?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember any other items that you were able to recover off the top of your head?
I believe we recovered a firearm, a couple of cell phones. That's all I can remember at this moment.
Now, when Quindarius Zachary mentioned the little 40 that he had just gotten 2 days before he got locked up, did you all, and you said we still have to run that. What did you mean?
We recovered a 40 caliber Smith & Wesson, which is almost the size of the palm of your hand, from his apartment. We hadn't had an opportunity to have the ATF test fire the gun to see if it came back to any other shootings or stuff like that.
And why is it that you all were asking Mr. Zachary where each person that he said was in the car that Monkton was driving, where each person was seated? Why was that of any importance?
Objection, Your Honor, relevance.
Overruled.
Just to get a better understanding of each person's position in the vehicle, and based on where we recovered evidence from the shooting, just kind of wanted to make it a determination.
And when Mr. Zachary is showing or motioning to Detective Dennis on the paper that Detective Dennis has in front of him where each person is sitting, is he motioning in a manner consistent with what he had just verbally said to you all?
Yes.
When you asked Mr. Zachary about Tay knowing where Philo stayed, who is the Philo you were talking about?
Philip Collins.
And Philo's girl, who is that you were talking about? Do you remember a name, Kenyatta Troutman?
Yes, Kenyatta Troutman.
And was that who you were talking about?
His child's mother, yes.
And where was it that she lived?
1903 Drew Drive, Perry Holmes area.
Now, Philip Collins, do you know did he have a brother?
Yes.
And was Philip Collins documented in any of your files?
Yes.
How was Philip Collins documented?
He was a member of Haiti Gang.
Haiti Gang? What about his brother? What was his brother's name?
Your Honor, Confrontation Clause and hearsay. I have no documentation.
Y'all approach. Yeah.